Jason Cabinets. I'm a retired Army officer. I have an HR tech startup called Cabinets HR. We do HR for companies of 49 or fewer people. By automating HR with an automated platform, we're providing an HR business partner. Right now, we have a special deal, do all your HR for $100 a month. Also do a podcast called the Jason Cabinets Experience, where I talk to entrepreneurs, other interested people. I've had a brain scientist, a U.S. Olympian. Last Wednesday, I had one of the Democratic candidates for governor on there. The guy named Down River, that's interesting. And then, knock on wood, in August, I might start interviewing Seattle Scout player once a week starting in August. So I'm trying to work that out right. So the rules, you'll come catch it, still 10 minutes, right? So pitch for 10 minutes or 1 minute, but 10 minutes a limit. And once you finish, the people in the crowd was gonna do yes or no. Yeah, last week we did, or last month we did where you just hold it up. This time all the yeses at first, we're gonna count them and all the no's after that, right? Some things Lord has going on pretty soon. July 5th and 6th, he's had a 2-day, it's a great music event, right? Called the Pioneer Square Fest. He's gonna have like dozens of live bands, and after that, we're all gonna go to the Central Saloon. Those that know the Central Saloon has been around since 1892. I mean, I guess that's true, right? Yeah. They still have live music every day. And for those not familiar with Pioneer Square, it's a great place that's coming up, right? A lot of restaurants, a lot of things to do. Since the weather's nice, every day during lunch, 11:30 to 1, there's live music in the square. First Thursday every month, there's an art walk. And no, you're doing your own art walk on June 6th, right? So you'll talk about that. Now, so we'll go through some stats for the last months. So last month, on April 17th, 82% attendance rate. So we had 2 starters pitch. One had an idea, he can't make a letter, and actually helped him start his MVP. And of course, social media is a big thing, right? We want to make sure we give you some value from this. So last month, they got 3,000 impressions across all social media. And also, they do a good job of people pitching. You'll be all over LinkedIn this week, right? They'll be posted by you, and stuff like that. So next, I'll turn over to Lloyd real fast, what he's doing.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out. My name's Lloyd, and I started the Pioneer Square Market Network. And it's a way to kind of find things to bring people down to Pioneer Square for. I fell in love with the neighborhood and saw it kind of fall into disrepair, but then I stuck around and I found opportunities like this space that's just waiting for people to come and have stuff. And that's us. We get to come and have stuff here whenever we want. So one of the things Anita and I wanted to do, because we were really inspired by Pioneer Square Labs upstairs and Founders Live, is create a networking opportunity here in Pioneer Square and like a practice place for people to meet and feel safe and give their pitches, but then use the space and come up with ideas and collaborate on fun stuff, making Pioneer Square and Seattle a better place. So that's me. Grab a card on your way out to figure out how to learn more about Pioneer Square Fest, July 5th and 6th.
When is Pioneer Square Fest?
Yeah, July 5th and 6th. And then, as Jason mentioned, we hold art walk events here at the corner of the building, the Masin building. Yeah, we're going to expand to 2 floors, and if you know a maker or a creator that wants to come and have a free vending opportunity, this is the opportunity to come be a part of art walk here in the building. It's another little thing the Pioneer Square Market Network brings to you. That's it. Thanks.
And the art is really good, right? I went last May. They had like a Salvador Dali paintings everywhere. So it's like really some high price, like high quality artwork. I'm not saying all artwork is a high quality, but you know.
Hey everyone, my name is Vida, and I am the one behind the Bishop in My Night. I also co-founded SEAS, Seattle Startup Expo. What I want to create with SEAS is a community of early adopters and then we get to make like a big exhibition, like the makeup innovation for them. So with the Bishop and My Night, I hope that I get to create that community. So if this is something you're interested in, follow us on our LinkedIn page, Instagram, Facebook page, whatever works for you, and then tag along.
Thank you. So the rules again. So the rules again for the pitch: 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes. After that, you'll hold your pedal, it'll be yes or no. And so the first person pitch will be Victoria.
That's me. Hi everyone, I'm Victoria. This is the first time I've pitched. So I'm here to tell you about Terris. Terris is a low-code platform that generates full-stack, fully functional code. So we help you build custom software, custom applications, custom features. That's our team, that's me, the CEO, and that's our CTO, Reed. So as a solution architect at Lululemon, Reed saw the complexity of the code base grow exponentially. Every time they introduced a new feature, a related feature would break. And this was really bad. They had an internal estimate of about $1 million an hour as a cost of outage if their site ever went down. Over time, teams just became super conservative and new features became kind of rare. And they did another internal estimate and found about $300 million a year of uncaptured revenue because they weren't able to do the updates they needed to do. And Reed felt that there just had to be a better way, so he developed an algorithm that would make coding less complex. So we kind of want you to think of Terris as two things. First is the code generator. This is our technical innovation, the enabling technology that allows Terris to exist. So our code generator automates data loading and state management and allows us to generate fully composable pieces of code. This means that this code that we generate can integrate with existing code bases and even backends. On top of that, we're building a low-code SaaS platform. So think of it as the easy interface to be able to take advantage of our code generator. So we see a lot of potential with this algorithm, with this code generator. We're choosing to focus on our low-code platform because there's a large proven market for low-code solutions. It's supported by the customer research we've been doing. And then, of course, Reed wanted this tool. He needed this tool as a solution architect. So jumping right in, we're deciding to focus on internal-facing applications, helping people build internal-facing applications. And that comes from Reed's experience with building out a lot of these applications at the companies he's been working for. So an example of this would be local outreach at Lululemon. Seems like a simple enough internal-facing application. And they looked for a product that would be able to do it for them. They looked at MailChimp, it didn't have the customization they needed. They were already paying for Contentful, they tried to leverage that, it didn't work out. They ended up building it themselves. It took them 8 months and over $2 million in development expenses. With the right low-code platform, this could have been built in days. So custom internal tools are over half of all applications and are subject of a $250 billion market. When Retool hit the market in 2017, they proved that there's still a big market for these low-code solutions. They are an internal dashboard builder, and they're a low-code solution, and they were very flexible and customizable, which is why they did pretty good. As you can see, hockey stick, you know? So we see ourselves as an evolution of Retool. We do way more than dashboards. For example, that local outreach, they weren't able to use Retool to build it, but you would have been able to use Terris. And that's because of our code generation approach. So most low-code tools, you have user inputs on their platform. They create a data schema, which goes through a rendering process, and out pops an application that they control. Not so for Terris. Terris does code generation. So because we generate code, we actually don't have to control the end application. We can host the application for you, but you can also integrate it into your existing application, and it will work with features that you built yourself. So we have all the flexibility that comes with code, which a lot of these low-code builders don't. That allows us to offer a lot of functionalities that they can't. So the first being that we're not just an MVP builder. For a lot of these low-code builders, you hit a point where you have an edge case where you need custom functionality that the low-code builder doesn't do, and so you have to completely scrap everything you've built and rebuild from the ground up. Not with us. If you have something that we can't do, you can still build it yourself in your code base, and our features will still integrate with what you built. We also offer the ability to do reusable custom components. Most of the times with these low-code builders, you have to use the component library that they already offer. And then one other I'll mention is integration with other softwares. So lots of times with these low-code builders, if you want, let's say, Airtable and Retool to be able to communicate, Airtable as a company and Retool as a company have to build plugins to allow that to happen. Again, because we're code generation, if your third-party software has an API, we can integrate it. Additionally, another benefit of Terris is that we have reliable updates, meaning marketers and designers can directly contribute to development. Instead of having a marketer create content, pass it off to a designer who creates the entire thing and like layout, all of that, and then everything gets given to a developer who basically has to build everything. With Terris, designers can directly do layout and marketers can directly do content. So this is the internal tools market. Like I said, 250 billion. This is a top-down estimate based on our closest competitors and also based on the fact that we are only doing React apps right now. And then our go-to-market strategy, we kind of have an A-list and a B-list. The A-list being partnering with companies, delivering white glove service. So I'm reaching out to tech leaders, starting those relationships. And then the B-list being just SEO, content marketing to developers to kind of get that natural community starting to build. And then long-term, we see ourselves fostering a community of third-party plugins, tools, and templates. And yeah, that's what we're raising. It'll give us about a 2-year runway. And then this is all the other stuff that people often ask me about. So if there's any developers in the audience, shameless plug, come talk to me after if you want access to our MVP, which will be released soon. Thanks.
So raise your power if it's a yes. Okay, put them down. Now raise your power if you have a no.
It's AJ.
All right, so AJ, you have the first question.
Thank you. Could you tell me more about your business model? I see freemium here on the screen, but just kind of like more about your licensing and what the monetization looks like. Is you kind of like a direct sales organization? Is it product-led growth? Like how do you monetize this business?
Yeah, so like you see here, I'm trying to hit everything.
Yeah.
We're doing a freemium subscription model, which is pretty common among SaaS products. They can join on the free tier, kind of play with what we create, generate some code, and then on our top tier, we hope to partner with mid to large size companies to offer maybe a little more white glove service, super similar to other B2B SaaS products.
Yeah.
And we see ourselves pricing similarly. So the problem is that we won't really know until it's in people's hands too. At the smaller levels, it's pretty simple pricing structures, but then at the highers, it's like anywhere from $2,000 to $24,000 like a month seems to be the normal for what we're offering. So we'll just see how much people like it. Did that answer all your questions?
You got most of it. A lot of unknowns, but it's the
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So it sounds like you're targeting internal stuff. We would like your app in our own schedule. That's something you guys are offering as well.
Yes, so the app is not available yet, like I think we talked about. So we're still pre-product, but yes, the second it's available, I'll let you know, and we'd love to help you guys build it out.
I guess it should be like, in terms of your target audience, you're including people who are not building internal tools.
Yes, yes. So the reason I say internal tools is because the components we offer first, dashboard builders, all of that kind of thing, kind of our component library that makes it easy to get started, if you will, is going to include components that are more towards internal tools. But the building blocks of Terris are code. So you can basically build what you want.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can do it.
Exactly.
Follow one.
Yes.
So, you guys are generating code. Are you generating code? Like, are you using, some kind of large language model to generate code?
So we're not LLM based. Yeah, so the code we generate is based on an abstraction layer, similar to React. So, but not as expensive. So that's why we don't really say it's a framework. But yeah, if that kind of.
That's a slightly over my pay grade, so okay, so I guess maybe kind of maybe follow question is like, how will your product stand out in this new market of different companies who are making large language models right code?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so we don't really see ourselves as competing with AI as much as we see ourselves enabling AI to be able to actually produce fully functional, full stack code. Struggling, but so right now, AI, the best one I think is Feben, that's producing code, and it can do about 13% of what an engineer can do, which is basically like junior level engineering. And it does that by using React, leveraging React, and writing like JavaScript code, right? And so there's two ways you can go about it. You can slowly make that AI better, right? It's at 13%. So let's say the mile marker is mile 100, and it's at 13 miles. The other way is to move the mile marker, make it easier, give it technology that it can use that would make it easier to have fully functional code. And so we see ourselves as yet another technology that it can leverage to be able to produce better code.
So it's almost like React that you were talking about earlier is a framework. You're talking about a framework on top of React that makes it easier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, that is different. That is different from that.
Yeah, it's super exciting if you think of AI. Like, you can do 13%, but if you move that mile marker, like I said, then that could be halfway there. Now we're talking about, almost a senior level engineer.
Cool. Thank you. I had a question. Like, suppose a panel comes to you and has an idea, and you do the low coding VP for them. Like, how do you have them decide to continue doing low coding VP versus like bring on internal people, so to speak?
Do you mean like if they hired us to build it for them?
Yeah, on the low code version, like how do you have them decide to continue using low code or go like their own internal development?
Yeah, so I guess the idea behind what we're doing is that you could do both. So if you wanted to, the code, you can generate the code and import it into your code base as a package. But you can still, so the code that you generated for the features, you can still update those features via Terris. So even though they're in your code base, connected to maybe code you wrote yourself, you could still use leverage Terris's easy-to-use platform for most of the features. And then if you needed really, really custom functionality that maybe Terris wasn't able to do, you could also write that yourself. So we see ourselves like partnering almost and being a developer tool to get you to easier pieces of code way faster. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Woo.
Thank you. My name is Nathaniel. Nathan and Nate are acceptable, but not Nate Dog. We'll give respect to the meeting. So yeah, Deleo Brothers Pizza. That's my son and I from Minnesota, and I moved here last January. So what do I do? Just the top button, the bottom. Cool. That's what he looked like when I opened in 2016. So now he looks like a little taller. So, but top?
Bottom.
Bottom.
That's good. Right.
I can do my best to describe. I had a lot of visuals. My reason I'm here to pitch is because I am trying to find a Deleo Brothers Pizza home in Seattle. Okay. So, without the slides, I have already done a ton of work, And we are in line and in a verbal agreement with the former Red Robin of Pier 54 to create Deleo Brothers Pizza, an 80s themed pizza parlor. Okay? You walk in, video games, arcade, classic, we see some of those around the area, but Marty McFly is your server, you know, your host, 80s music going on, MTV, all that stuff, and the pizza's there. The reason I'm here is because we have a great business plan and all the details, stats of all the traffic, what's going on. We see the redevelopment. Just being here 6 months, I see what the city's doing to liven up the pier, liven up Pioneer Square, like you guys are doing right here. We want to be a part of that. And so we feel like because myself, Nathaniel, my grandpa, Deleo, and the generations from 1800, Port Townsend, Washington. That's where they went. They went to Port Townsend, Washington, and started their lives there. And generations after generations, they called Deleo Bros Hardware and Lumber. So we're Italian. We're having our 80th reunion coming up. Lots of spaghetti, lots of meatballs, all the kind of stuff. So I took the name from the Deleo Lumber Company to Deleo Brothers Pizza, and because I missed the family in Minnesota. So, but anyways, we're New York style pizza. We are authentically New York style. We are located in 3 locations in Minneapolis, Edina, and at Mall of America. And what we are trying to consider is, do we create that full, 5,000 square foot space that is the, Red Robin location? Or what I just kind of came across and thinking of doing now is doing the more pizza by the slice, Mall of America, just come up, very New York, next, soup Nazi kind of pizza, raise your hand if anybody dips their pizza in ranch at all. You guys can all now leave, right? We call it white girl ketchup. We had a lot of fun playing with people, and next, and have and what we're doing in Mall of America, we've done for the last 3 years, we've done 1.2 million in sales pizza at the Mall of America by the slice, and that model is a quick go. We still do other pastas and things like that. We have a dining area. We have a slice of what our larger restaurants are, what Red Robin would look like. So. The concept now that we are looking at, because Red Robin won't be available to us until 2027 due to construction, is we can develop Ivers. And what I'm trying to pitch to you guys is, do we create that quick, just walk up pizza by slice, not have the full seating down, all those 20 employees, 50 employees on a weekend? And do we create a slice of Coney Island on Pier 54 behind Ivers there? Okay, so what you guys familiar with the place? You get your Ivers, you can get your quick Ivers too. Then you can get a burger joint, a little other food. There's a little tiny shop. Hit the corner, you smell Deleo's. You smell pizza. You see New York. You see throwing pizzas up in the air. We have a Statue of Liberty holding a slice of pizza. Boom. Again, sorry for the lack of visuals. And then once you turn the corner, you are now seeing a slice of New York, Coney Island. An Italian icy guy, Nathan's hot dog, guy. If anybody's familiar with Seaside, Oregon, get down there, they have a little fascination thing. So fun kids come in there. Then we'll do the big arcade. And the idea is, because the problem that we have, again, here I'm looking for a smaller square foot, right? I can make money. I know what I'm making in Mall of America compared to having these full, restaurants. The one in Edina that we have was what is called almost 6,000 square foot, and used to be a California pizza kitchen. Again, that's a lot of thoughts. So I'm thinking that's sort of small. So back to the Coney Island idea, we would then also dig out a 6,000 square feet of just event space and fill it with arcades, things that you can smell, see the sound. It's wide open, and people can bring their slice of pizza, and we can also turn it into an event center. So you can have your corporate party, your prom night, your wedding. How can you have, your vows as the ferry goes by, and you can have a catering center and all that stuff. So again, our pizza production area only needs about 3,000 square feet, which is that corner. And again, I'm glad you guys are here because you're shaking heads, you've seen the place. The rest all the way to the Ivers corner where they have their outdoor patio would just be a fun, we want to promote artists. Have street performers do their drawing, because we have control over that area. And so that's the pitch of the idea is that, what do you call it? Street performers, we can control that. That can all be supportive, paid, whatever, and create environment, art, and things like that. Whatever that can come from it. So again, nightlife of karaoke, DJ night, and all that stuff. So my question again, yes or no? Because right now, will Deleo Brothers Pizza end up somewhere around here, whether it be a small corner shop around the corner here, or in Port Townsend, somewhere in the northwest where my family is here, and I want to bring this to what I've learned in Minnesota and bring here. The question is, where do we land? And right now, I'm being ambitious for Red Robin. We got a great business plan. We're going to go for it. But I'm like thinking, should I just start with this and get this going before the World Cup and that kind of thing? So yeah. I guess I wanted to show that along with that here, you guys can pass this around. But this is our theme, Super Deleo Bros. That's a Supreme. We have a Burger Time pizza. A Mega Man, Mega Meat, pizza. You can see the logos that we've already gone through, copyright issues with. The only one that we realized that actually we don't have is Taco Time. So we don't have Taco Time in Minnesota. So when I moved here, it's like the shape of that one. So we'll work on that one. But that's our menu: pastas, calzones, and then again, how well can we become a pizza place? Whether we have the Red Robin one or whether we have the one on here. How do we get on that road, get Uber, get drivers, and get pizza slices to even here? Would be easier to your guys' office for the next night, the fresh garlic and things. So how do we deliver? There's so many opportunities for. Again, I'm sorry for the lack of numbers and things. We know what's the opportunity there. But again, what do you think? Deleo Brothers Pizza is going to happen. It's already happening in Minnesota. It's been successful out there. And now I'm ready to move it here, and the question is where, but especially right now between Red Robin, 27 because of construction, versus what we could potentially do right now. Thank you.
Raise your hand if it's a yes. Yes or Peter. All right, now raise it for no.
I guess I have to correct it.
Yeah.
Cheap question. Is it yes for peer?
No, it's yes if they like the pitch.
Or does like the
I'll just like the pitch, yeah.
Okay.
Can we go for the peer too, you think?
Yeah, next
Sure,
up.
yeah, honestly, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So now go yes and go to Red Robin. Yeah.
You want the-
I think
Wait, if you want the
Red Robin, the whole like big blown out.
The whole big blowout.
6,000
Okay.
square feet.
both though, isn't it? The Red Robin.
No, I'm going to do one. I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't do both tiers. Right now, I want to land there somewhere, but Red Robin is not available to 27 due to construction.
But you can get the window up.
But I could get the window and the thing going up with the pier. I just get on there now before.
By Ivers.
Yeah.
I'm all for the window.
Yeah, do that.
Right. Exactly. And then we could, we were looking at because what Ivers is offering, again, it's almost 9,000 square feet. We only need 3,000 to do what we do at Mall of America right now. It's a proven model, it's a money making, and it's with the foot traffic that is the seasonal part of Seattle, which is, in Mall of America, we're right across from a theme park, you get the Ferris wheel. We're right across from the aquarium. There's an aquarium there. We get a lot of kids, so it's a great, almost very similar feature. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's kind of opportunity for like field trips and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to how fun would it be for the kids that come across the ferry for their field trip to go to the aquarium, come back, and we have $2 slices ready for them for their lunch,
But are you, sorry, I had a question.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you would use 3,000 square feet and then maybe rent out
Yes,
to
so,
other like local Seattle?
right, so the leasing company, the people that own the place, they want to rent it all, they want it all one company. So that's where I'm like, okay,
So you have to come in with already.
we have to come in, and so that's where we would be asking for more startup income for this idea, and we would want to see help us develop that, or we just go all out and create that idea of, I don't know, is that a good idea for an event center down here? Are there enough event centers? I haven't done that part of research to where you can rent it out and have it in your space, but again, what is that area used right now? People just go out and they get a great view, great shot photo. Why can't they also have Italian icy, a pizza slice, and play some games and fascination. Again, if you guys are familiar with that fun kind of 50 cents play, and we're very, kid friendly. That's our target market, and that's what the pier is, and so that's the.
I don't know, most event places here sell like charge on the legs, so you can charge like a little lower, you get
Yeah.
the price.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's your price point when you're looking for a slice of pie, like a slice of cheese or that?
So right now we're at $5 a slice for a cheese in the Mall of America. Mall of America is double what the rent they're asking there, so we feel like we can get it down to like a $3-4, just cheese. We go up with the stromboli up to $8.50 and stuff like that. Our price point
Okay.
is very good. We were in Mall of America. There are over how many places are to eat in just that general area, right? At Mall of America, there's I think 142 different places you can get something to eat and drink. And at Mall of America, they only allow Pepsi to come in. Our first year, we were like 132 of sales in Pepsi product. This last year, we were third. So that proves that we have a product that people are coming to say, this is where to get the pizza. Our other motto was, bros before Sbarros or something like that. And then our motto now, which Jaime, he liked, was we're garlic, we crust. So the garlic, we know we like garlic. Crust, that we all judge a pizza by the crust. But the most important part is the we. So it takes you, us, customers, kids, employees. We focus on the we part in our company. Question?
Yeah, thank you. So this all sounds great. Why I said no is
Yes.
kind of the, I think the missing piece is around the economics. And,
Yeah.
you might
Yeah.
have that information,
Yeah.
but like what do your margins look like? What's your overhead? How much sales do you need
Yes.
to break even?
Yeah.
Those are the answers that I guess.
Through connections, hopefully we can, or email, I can send you guys our business plan for Red Robin, because it has all of that there. It's not in my head, I'm a very visual person. My cousin, again, this is a family thing too, so I have more Deleos over here than I do in Minnesota. And my cousin Deleo is my 25% partnership, I'm 75%, so he is the number guy, he is the mergers and acquisition. So if I could get that to you guys another time, or we can connect, you can see that we've done the work for Red Robin, and it's a no-brainer. We already have a strong support from U.S. Foods and from that kind of thing, but I feel like this is a better idea.
I was gonna say, if someone lives downtown at the market, are you familiar with Post Alley Pizza?
Yeah, Post Alley is the closest one. Yeah, the closest
But
one.
they're not open on the weekends.
Oh, they aren't?
No.
Oh. Not for dinner.
Or maybe,
Now they are, but it's
maybe
easy.
it works for a while. Yeah, maybe I don't know if you didn't change the game, but you
Yeah.
have one thing that you have a pretty good little potential
Yes.
market. Aside from that, you have to go into the Pike Place market,
Yeah.
but right there. I think just having a window with a good, just keep it simple.
Simple.
Good pie,
Yep.
good crust, and then you would just kill it.
Good crust and good, yeah.
Especially with the aquarium.
Right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. With that event space, it'd be fun to have those classic, 80s, lunch tables just to put down and have those kids come in. How many kids come and have a slice of pizza, go back home and say, Mom, we got to go back there. We don't need to do the aquarium. We need to do the fun part. So a Zoltar machine, we already got that. I got a Club DeLorean, wants to bring and put some, Cub. So the events and things. I had pictures of Ghostbusters night. We connect with people that have that passion and hobby. Big kids, little kids. The event center idea, that's part of, have a Cheers bar area, so that if somebody does cater and rent it, we can have a place to serve the beer and wine to your wedding or your corporate event, licensed that way. But again, the window is year-round.
And I was going to say, I don't know, just because of Fisherman's Terminal or some other kind of place that are already kind of known for that, I don't know, like, if that would be.
Yeah, Fisherman's Terminal, I want to know where the event place is.
Yeah, it's right behind the big wheel. People have like
okay.
Christmas.
So there's one on there.
Yeah, so we've just been there for a while, so but maybe that's more the merrier, but just something to think about.
I absolutely love this idea, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you should absolutely do it, because I would love to have a pie when I'm down there.
Yeah.
I love hanging out down there.
Yeah.
And you probably already thought about this, but there's an arcade already that's there. Are you thinking that you're differentiating by doing like more of those
The retro
games? Okay.
pinball. We'll have more of a complete section, or a complete. There's a couple bars. I've been doing a lot of researching, a lot of pizza all up and down this line, and see the retros, arcades, and things like that. So it's there. Again, it's something that I'm trying to think of considering having the big, kind of trying to lean towards more of the Dave and Buster's idea, because that is a proven profitable margin.
Oh my gosh,
And have a
I hate
system that would come in.
Like
Yeah,
carnival style.
the big carnival style games, and that could fit into this square space again. If they had the photo, you know, the cutout, the build out, the architectural work that we want to now start developing. I'll probably start tomorrow and go from there. Yes.
Yes. Have you looked at any plans for the upcoming water renovation and what timing that's going to look like? Because I would say right now it's not as busy as it has been in past years, and it's not as busy as it's going to be once all of that is in the model, but that's a few years out.
Are we still talking 2 years? Is it that's just the road construction that I've seen? That's still what they're working on?
And the plaza.
And that whole aquarium area?
Yes,
whole
yeah,
pier is
that
getting
new
redone.
pier that burned down, and that's being added back on, right? Yeah.
There's gonna
I-
be a giant thing that the public can walk and see
Park.
under a giant aquarium. Or that-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So again-
So you can have a slice of pizza and look up and see all these giant fish.
Oh, wow.
And I know they're adding a ton of seating there as well,
Yeah.
because of all of these, again, field trips, all the kids spread out.
Right. The idea, again, it's the Pier 55, which is a Red Robin. We have a great access to get the people that are going on the whale watching. Oh, just get a slice quick and go. Because we were going to redevelop that Red Robin to allow for street window access like Ivor's has.
Yeah.
So we were going to totally gut that out and do that, but we have to wait till 2027 because they're redoing the piers and they're redoing the
Bob,
structure.
I don't know if you could talk to Argosy or something, like we do with them, where if you get a ticket, then you get to go and get some pizza or something, that would be a national.
We want to do that across the board, both sides.
And then I'm thinking, you know, you should find.
Which one?
Target cruise.
Oh, yeah, cruising, yes,
They're just
yeah.
gonna- But then I was just gonna say on the side, like you're talking about, doing like a little Coney Island with the Nathans, I was like, out of respect for Frankfurt.
I know, very nice.
You know, but.
Well, the other concept too is if we can get a big enough development, last but state, like the next side, come up, is we can bring, and my business plan partner, Johnny Deleo, he wants to do tents at the games and the things. We could be there right now. But I thought, how do we get down there? Let's do the George Costanza thing, like develop a Frogger machine that's kind of hollowed out, you know, with a little display that you can serve the slices on, heat them up and whatever, and he has to push those across the street, you know, to get to the you know, and have street vending and allow jobs for that way too. So.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
One saying no to all the pitches.
So we want to know.
20 no's. I love the feedback. I'm not here for positive reinforcement. I'm here for constructive feedback. Anyway, I'm the founder of a startup called Privo Mobile. So a little while back, I was at my niece's 11th birthday party. I don't have any slides. I don't know if you want to. That's better. That's more like that. Yeah, it's just for me. So anyway, a little while back, I was at my niece's 11th birthday party, and about half of the kids there were running around, laughing, and having fun in really a way that only kids can. And the other half of the kids were standing in the corner looking down at their phones. Smartphones are not suitable for young children, mostly because they have access to the whole internet. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pornhub, all the things. Right now, parents are trying to use smartphones with parental control apps to restrict functionality for their kids on smartphones. But we hear over and over again from parents that the setup on these parental control apps is too complicated and the parents can't figure them out. And even if they do, the kids are very clever at getting around all the restrictions and accessing all the things they're not supposed to access. So at Privo Mobile, we're building what we call a dumb phone for modern types. Our phones combine the limited functionality of a dumb phone with the modern touch-based look and feel of a smartphone. Our phones have no internet browser, no social media, and no app store, so parents can keep in touch with their kids without giving them access to the whole internet. We make money a couple different ways, primarily by selling phones. So we sell physical devices to our customers. We sell hardware, and the customers from their perspective, we make hardware, but we don't actually make the hardware. The way we do that is we take an existing low-end Android phone, one SKU, and we change the software, a custom Android build. So to the customer, we're selling the whole phone, but we're really just developing software. And this enables us to produce in really small quantities at affordable prices. We also sell cellular plans to go along with our phones. So customers buy a phone from us, and then they also get a cell plan from us. So the economics on that are, a phone is about $179, and then the cell plan is $20 a month. So we get recurring revenue as well as some upfront margin as well. One of the great things about this business is, while it seems like making a hardware product is super capital intensive and that the margins are going to be terrible from the get-go, and it's going to be years and years and millions of dollars before you make any money, we don't have that problem. We're bootstrapped today, and we're about to release a beta of our first product in July with very little upfront capital. Bootstrap, it's my money, it's not much, I don't have that much of it. And we're also making 50+% margins on the hardware out of the gate, and that's going to go up over 60% at scale. And on the cell plans, our variable margins are around 60% out of the gate. So we charge 20 plus taxes and fees, and it costs us about 8. And then that can get down to about $4 or $5 a month at scale. So close to 75%, 80% margins. So very attractive margins at scale and able to produce in small quantities at affordable prices. So we're really excited to get off the ground. We just started taking pre-orders of our product a couple weeks ago. I joke we just went from $0 in revenue to almost $0 in revenue. So infinite growth on a percentage basis for those counting at home. And looking forward to your questions and feedback. Thank you.
Put up your paddles if it's a yes. All right, now put your paddle if it's a no. So you have your first question.
I have a almost 15-year-old daughter, 13-year-old son, and a 9-year-old daughter. And when we went out to pick out phones for them, God forbid they were going to get an Android because they shunned their friends having Androids. And nothing lower than an iPhone 13 because all their friends are like, that's a very challenging thing is their friends, they have to be compatible with what their friends have. And how do you plan to attract kids for this type of phone? If their friends have Android 14, 15, all these features, bells and whistles, how
Yeah, it's a great question. The first thing I'd say is parents are the buyers, and the kids are not fans of ours right now. So that can be attracting the parents rather than the kids. It also depends a little bit too on what age the kid is getting the phone relative to their peers. So if they're the last one in their class with a phone and it's a dumb phone like ours, then they're going to be really upset. If they're if half the kids don't even have phones yet and they have one of ours and that kind of delays the smartphone for a couple years, that's easier from a parental perspective to kind of get the kids on board with. So kind of selling as an alternative to the kids, pitching it as an alternative to not having a phone, and to the parents as an alternative to having a smartphone and kind of being an interim solution for that couple year period in between. It's a difficult needle to thread, but it's like, how do you be enough for the kid but not too much for the parent?
That's a great call out. Have you thought about maybe an app that opens up with a password the parent can log into it, make setting changes on the phone, on an iPhone or Android, and then that app is what controls the software and by accepting agreements, it downloads or changes all the settings through the app on the phone, and then you can have very many devices.
Great question. Short answer is no, and absolutely not. The reason for that is that's basically what all of our competitors are doing. And I think I'm hearing, and we're hearing a lot of negative feedback around that. If you ask parents what they want, and I do that all the time, what you hear over and over is that they want options, they want 1,000 different choices to make. But then you look at their actual behavior, and it's exactly the opposite. It's that they have too many options, the restrictions and controls and settings are too complicated, and they want something that just works how it comes with no setup required and no kids getting around it. Because kind of the more options you provide for the phone to do, the easier it becomes for the kid to access those options, even if the parent doesn't want them to. So it's it's what a question I hear a lot, and I joke that it comes how it comes, and if you want to do something else, too bad. We don't provide any options or any choices for you. You get what we give you, and that's it.
Yeah, we have an iPhone and we have a family. My wife puts screen times on, limits their screen times, but our kids found out that there's like a 1 minute gap in between.
That's so true. And depending on what button they click, it gives them like 5 extra minutes or whatever.
And they're like, don't just keep doing that. And they'll get an extra minute, and my wife will like, oh, shut your phone off. Well, why are you still on YouTube? Oh, because, I get an extra minute.
Or they see you put in the code, and you don't see them see you. They're like spies.
And they'll try, the birthday and all different kinds of user numbers.
So true.
Like you said, they're smart.
Yeah, they're very clever.
So you said you're gonna have a cell service. Like who provides a cell service?
Yeah.
Is it Verizon? How much money you have to pay them to be on their cell tower?
Yeah, so we technically don't disclose, but if you took 3 guesses, you could probably figure it out. So that's what I'll say. It's one of the majors. And we pay them. It changes a little bit with volume, and I can't get into the specifics of the pricing, but we can get, part of it is by usage as well. So we pay based on usage, and one of the good things about our margins, and particularly for cell plans, is we sell what we brand as unlimited plans. But because the phones have such limited functionality, we know that data usage is going to be really low because it's basically not capable of consuming all that data. So then on the back end, we pay less because we're not consuming data, and we can offer unlimited plans at competitive prices and still have higher margins than our competitors.
Thank you.
So what is the functionality that kids' phones will have?
So it's literally it's 6 buttons, so 6 icons: call, text, camera, alarm clock, Spotify, and the 6th one is settings. That's it.
So there's no video FaceTiming?
No.
Is that a possibility?
Well, I mean, we can integrate with Apple iMessage, so we could.
Not FaceTime, just web like.
Yeah, so we could build our own theoretically, but then you basically need to, for video, you need to control the app on both sides of the platform. So then it kind of requires more people using our apps, or a parent using video on the other end of, or a grandparent on the other end of that conversation.
Yeah, because,
so, I was going to say it's maybe later at some point, but it's not an immediate priority.
Yeah.
One cool feature that we looked at when thinking about getting a watch for our kids was being able to track where they are. Where they can track the location of the phones.
So there's no passive location tracking. The kid can send their location, but it's an action from on the device as opposed to it tracking it in the background.
It's not a very deep question, but just like, how is it that you're buying a phone with Google capabilities and it's selling it for such a nice margin? You know what I mean? Like the value add of taking away capabilities is so high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it makes it out. That's just what it is.
It's also, I think people don't realize how cheap low-end Android phones are. So when we tell people, like, we're selling our phones for $179, they're like, oh, you must be losing money on those sales. And it's like, no, we make over 50% margin because people don't realize that there is Android, at least in the US, that there's Android hardware, that's cheap, but then also people appreciating the value add of removing functionality.
Is there a market for adults that need to? Sometimes I see my friends say, I need to take a couple months off social media and whatever. Is there a market for adults to have just phone and contact and be able to reach their kids or husband or wife? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we do definitely see interest from adults who want, to just spend less time on their phones or to get away from all those things. It's a little harder group to target from a marketing perspective to identify who the customers are, because with parents of kids say 8 to 13, we can find out who those people are and where to reach them more effectively and efficiently than with people of kind of unknown age with unknown characteristics. We also, what's probably a more accessible secondary market for us is elderly specifically. So people who, my mom is a great example. She has an iPhone and she uses it to call and text and barely even text. And there's a large market of elderly individuals like that who, it's not that they're spending too much time on those things, it's that all those things are just a distraction from the interface. So creating a simplified interface because it has fewer buttons and less things that they don't know what to do with.
And a follow-up question too, as a pizza guy with the idea of having maybe 5 or 6 guys and gals taking pizzas to the Seattle area, if that was their only, I would only 4 or 6 of those, whatever, would they be able to have that tracking and find their location and just come back and they'd have their own private phone,
Can you repeat the question?
Something like it would be a tool for a company to have too, if they don't want to have their employees when they're working to be only communicating that and doing their work on their computer versus, or for me as a sending out delivery guys and be able to track those people, where they're at and are they coming back, have the next order ready, but knowing that they're not, they don't have to rely on their phone to be that source or I don't know.
Yeah, so potentially, I think with different businesses, we see, different use cases, and one of the challenges is a lot of times it's like, oh, they want what we have, but they want kind of like a tiny bit of customization on top of that. And there's probably opportunity for us to approach sort of like semi-custom business use cases down the line. That's not a short-term priority, and it kind of adds complexity for us. But I think, particularly for larger enterprises, they're, if we're building ideally what's a more constrained, more private, and more secure foundation that we can kind of add additional capabilities for specific enterprises on top of that and on top of those building blocks. But it's sort of a 3 years from now problem.
So kids first. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any other questions for AJ?
So, what do you price to the phone with the time for one? Like, do you consider being upgraded to the real phone or a smartphone so they can use it for?
Yeah, so good question. So right now we have one product SKU, so there's no upgrade path that we have. One of the things we're looking at is how they can, even if they don't buy a phone from us, how they can kind of keep the cell plan and cell number with us, which can, potentially be more profitable than the phone. So, even if they ditch our phone and upgrade to an iPhone or another smartphone, that, they would still be a subscription customer of us for the cellular service. But as of now, no upgrade path. It's just kind of the interim model, and then they probably buy a phone from someone else at some point.
Would you charge them a fee if they try to leave your phone? Like, let's say they want to leave your job, they want to go to mobile, for example, do you charge them like a fee? And how much is it?
Right now, there's no contract, so they can leave whenever they want. So.
Have you thought about doing any other like wearables, like a watch or anything like that?
We've thought about it and decided against it. Is the short answer. You can give a long answer. Thank you. Another time. Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here. My name's Ashley Baker, and this is Feben Asfaw and Archer Lawrence. We have a fourth co-founder named Samir, who's not able to join us here today. But we have a product called Mindpulse. So Mindpulse is a generative AI product, and it is basically journaling with feedback. So one of the problems that we found within the mental health industry is clients aren't normally and oftentimes the best person to know what's going on in their own lives. So if they come to a therapy session, say maybe they have some deeper things that they should actually be discussing and talking about, that they might not be aware of. They might also have had a recent event that has triggered them to be the topic of that conversation for a therapy session. The main issue is, how does that therapist truly get to the bottom of what their client wants to talk about? So we have a product that is able to track, summarize, work with the person journaling to give them constant feedback, and to have actual metrics that they can give to their therapist. So the output of this journaling app is something that they do in terms of homework. I don't know if any of you have been in therapy sessions where they ask you to go home and journal, and it just doesn't happen because who's asking you to do that? And your therapist isn't there with you. So if you actually have a form of somebody talking back to you, it makes journaling easier, and it makes it kind of go deeper into those things that we discuss. And then I think we have.
I can't speak. So this is Samir's slide. He couldn't make it tonight. We can get into where we see ourselves in the market a little bit later, but just for now, one thing I want to touch on. Yeah, so we're going to show you a Figma prototype here in a second. What that looks like. There's one more thing. It's just we are using new large language models to have these voice interactions, and then we're also using those large language models to analyze your journals, apply kind of metrics to them. Apply metrics to those journals, and then display that in a dashboard for you, but then also for your therapist. So we can show you what that looks like right now. So essentially, as Ashley was saying, sometimes it's kind of hard to actually get yourself to do the journaling. So this is the first slide. But let's picture the real first slide is you get prompted. So you get a notification on your phone that says, hey, it looks like it's time for your daily journaling. You log into your app. And actually, let's do like a new user sign up, because there's a unique feature here that we want to highlight. So you put your information in, you sign up, and first of all, we start with a conversational journal, just to teach you about how this kind of talking back and forth interaction happens. And we're also trying to get to know you a little better. So it's going to talk to you about what are your goals. So this person wants to work harder, improve their diet, and get out into the world and explore more. So we draw that down into some metrics that we're going to track across time. So it sounds like you want to be productive, eat healthier, and be adventurous. So going forward, we save that into your profile. So just from this conversation, you now have this kind of log that you can go and edit and change it any way you want, but that gets us sort of an initial understanding of what you're actually looking to measure over time. Try that myself on the phone. So then you get presented with your two different options for journaling. So obviously we just talked a lot about the conversational bit, but look, a lot of people, our other Samir, gave his first time using this, he said, look, I don't want it to be chatting back and forth, like I just want to write down my thoughts. So we want to give you two options. You can do this kind of new-fangled chat, but you can also just do classical. Conversational, you're just going to see the sort of typical chat interface for most large language models, asking you questions that are kind of digging deeper into your day. And then once you have done that, you get to your home page. And this is basically trying to give to you, like what she was saying, what's the underlying theme? What's actually happening across a period of journals, or even just one? What are the current action items that it feels like, what are you trying to actually get to? What are some recommendations? And then you can basically look through the log of all your previous journals and find that same information for each one. So for every single one, it's a summary of what actually did you talk about, what are things you can work on. You can see the full transcript of your chat, or if it's a static journal, you can just read through it. So you guys cover
anyways, so then, especially after you've had a series of chats, let's say you've been doing this for a week, you're staying up on it, then we can provide you a summary. So this is where we get into the metrics. In traditional, let's say back in the day before AI, we didn't have keywords, right? So adventurous. You think up some keywords and try and identify, what's a word that sounds like adventurous. We don't need to do that anymore. So the large language models understand what you mean. So we can ask it, did this day sound like it was an adventurous day? Rate it 0 to 5. And it can do that. And I can show you just a second. And these graphs that you see here across a week or a month, or if you want to do custom, you can select different days. All these charts were made in ChatGPT based on real journals that we put in. So these metrics are not theoretical. This is exactly what you get out of our system. So we are pitching to you right now this app. And when your MVP comes live, we're going to use it to make our actual real app experience here. And I think this is a really strong sell as far as that experience. I just want to show one more thing. Sorry. Once you get your summaries, you can export it. And this is where we can select, we're sending this off to your provider, right? And you couldn't give them your exact journals, but we find a lot of people don't want to share that necessarily. Maybe just some of the overlying summary of their experience, the action items, or the graphs themselves. And so this is sort of the pipeline to get it to the provider so that when you get there, they've already seen all this. They already know what you're working on, They already have a strong understanding, and you guys can get right to work. So there is the app, but I think it's important to show that this is real. So, sorry. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll just make a couple of points where Archer's prepared. So if you think about it, if you have a question of what makes it different from other journaling apps, there are so many journaling apps. If you look at your app store, right? But most of them are first static, right? It's classic mode. They're not interactive. They don't talk to you. That's one point. And then the other point is also we provide analytics and summary, and that's going to make the therapy sessions more effective because therapy sessions are very expensive. People go only once or twice a month, and we want to make therapy sessions effective. And these summary insights and analytics will be sent to your therapist, and that should help making the session effective.
Fantastic point. Yes, thank you. Honestly, I really appreciate that. So, can we just second? Okay, so here we go. So we provided 5 days worth of the journals, and I want to really focus in. So on Tuesday, I felt a really productive day today. I wrapped up a proposal. There wasn't anything particularly exciting. I wasn't frustrated today. I was a bit nervous, right? So that's what Tuesday was. So then we have asked through prompt engineering the model to go through every single day and rate it. So it looks like it was a very productive day. You explicitly said you felt productive that day on Tuesday. So once we have applied those metrics, we then have it use its code interpreter, and it uses those metrics to write your journal. So it looks like your productivity was pretty high on that day, but you also experienced an anxiety, you see what I mean? And you can then see your emotional summary, your highlights, and your weekly action items. This is real, right? It's happening right here in front of you. We just need your app to integrate with the AI, right, in order to make this actually happen. So I just think it's very important to emphasize that a thinking prototype is good and all, and theoretically it's nice, but we've already solved the prompt engineering. You just need to take up prompts, put them to the API, and you have this all integrated. And then you just said something about the journaling. I'm going off the script here, guys, but this is what it sounds like. So, hi, I'd like to start a conversational journaling session today. Anyways, this was a risk. It's thinking. Here, give me just one more try. I'd like to start a conversational journal today.
What's on your mind? Anything exciting, challenging, or just plain interesting happen today?
I'm pitching an open mic night right now about you as a product, and so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm excited.
That sounds thrilling. How's it going so far? Are you getting good vibes from the crowd?
Yes, I think so. They like that one.
That's awesome to hear. What's the part they seem to enjoy the most?
Anyways, so you see what I'm saying? So it's not just like, okay, you walk up to your journaling app, what am I even writing? You know, it's asking you questions, you're going back and forth, and over time, it's remembering things about your experience and asking you deeper questions about them. So, all the demos, all the presentation, there we go.
All right, well, for your panel, this is yes. Okay, now for your panel, this is no.
Yes. Yes. Please, yeah.
Lead the way.
Sure. Could you talk a little bit about the business model and kind of what your monetization strategy looks like?
For those who pitch next month, have your business model.
Yeah. Keep right here.
Next time.
This is still very, we're still at the beginning, so most likely, I don't know, we'll have to think about it, but most likely we're going to start with free subscription, right? And once we know that people like it, then slowly we start charging. But
Right.
I think that's that.
A little bit more. Sorry, extension of that answer. Okay, so in the process of us making this custom GPT, which is what you saw just a moment ago, doing this whole thing, a company reached out to us. Okay, I'm going to mess up. But basically, a company reached out to us called GPT Wallets, and so they make an integration with custom GPTs that makes it so that you can paywall the custom GPT. First of all, the custom GPT is an app, like on the App Store for ChatGPT. So they have tailored use cases like what you saw here. So we can do a freemium model. So they can get in there, they can do maybe a few days worth of journaling, and then we could say, okay, we're actually limiting you until you pay us either a one-time or a subscription over time. So other things we want two products. We want an app that's like full innovative experience. It's for the therapist, export whatever. And if you want, you have this light use case, custom GPT. And right now, custom GPTs are only available to paid users of ChatGPT, but they just announced on Monday that it's going to be available for all free users. So millions of people will be able to access this for free pretty soon here. So we get people hooked. They like this idea. Maybe we now do it. They have to subscribe while using the custom GPT, or this is always free. But if you want to come to this more advanced, more sophisticated interface that's better for long-term tracking, then we say, yes, sorry, that's X number of dollars a month.
Still working.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm a little yes because that's cool, but I'm a little bit no because you guys are trying to have the machine guess the emotion. I think that's a human job.
It's a human job?
Yeah, like you should work to kind of figure out what you feel. Not like you should put the label on it, not the machine. That's my only issue.
Yeah, totally. That's a compelling point. I think we live through some kind of crazy times here because, like I was saying, with keywords, like in the old paradigm, it couldn't do it. It just couldn't, And I think you're right philosophically and ethically. There's a question here about do we want to be doing this kind of work? But at the very least, the technology is able to do it. So people who feel that this is something they struggle with, and we talked about people who have mood disorders, right? It's very difficult to track your emotions over a long period of time because you have such high fluctuations. They innately struggle with that, what you said right there, which is interpreting their own emotions over a long period of time.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So I think at the end of the day, it's a tool. A therapist is also a tool that you can use. Like some people like that human connection, some people don't. This is a tool to give you the starting point to have a conversation, and some people aren't forthright with their emotions or feelings, that maybe they don't even know how to start talking to a therapist. So this is a tool that breaks the ice of something that might be daunting to some people. We're all different. Not only is this a tool, journaling is a tool. Like an actual journal, physical journal is also a different tool. So it's just another option for a different individual with a different type of way of communicating.
So we're not replacing therapists, right? This is only to help you explore your feelings and thoughts. That's what the composition will do, but it's all going to be based on what you journal in the system. All the analytics and the summary is going to be what you provide.
Yeah, but like my issue is that task will just look at what you wrote, right? And then say you felt anxious, you felt happy. I feel like you should prompt the user to be like, okay, how do you feel? And then like when you're writing all of those, what do you feel? Like anxious, happy, all of this. And then, that's my point. I feel like having a machine tell me based on what I wrote, like, oh, you were happy there, I don't think that's okay. That's what my problem is.
So we were thinking that an interactive journaling experience is hopefully asking questions. So like at the beginning, it's like, oh, I want to be more adventurous. It's going to ask you in the interactive journaling questions about being adventurous. You know what I mean? So it's kind of leading you along the way to get at that information.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But also, look, you're not wrong. Like we live in the AI times, guys. Like this is a different time. Are we willing to accept, that this thing can't understand you emotionally? And there's going to be a curve there for adoption around, whoa, this thing really gets me, and maybe in a way that deeply makes me question, like, my interaction with emotions and my therapist and my computer, you know what I mean? So, good point.
Let's move on to the next question. And I would say for real life usage, you kind of talked about therapy, your therapist, and you've also talked about using it by yourself. So like, where do you kind of envision this? Like, do you like in tandem with a therapist, and they would have access to this data when you're not around to kind of see how you're doing, or is this more for myself to kind of, I am the personal therapist, or like depending on it can be both potentially.
We've gone round and round with that. We initially were targeting therapists because we're seeing this big gap. Like, we didn't say this, but fill the gap. That's what we're trying to do. In our research,
in conjunction with therapy, kind of.
Yeah, it's like we need to help. There seems to be a large demand in that there's not enough therapists, and we need to fill the gap somehow. It could end up being that this experience, interpersonally, just as one user, is compelling enough that you don't need to take it to therapy. But I think that's what we'll have to find. We'll have to see.
It's not a replacement for therapy, but more like an addition or to help.
Right.
I want to understand towards two things. The security aspect of it. Are you protecting the data? Like if someone gets hacked, everything's getting hacked now. And then now you got someone's journal, then you got some really personal information. The second thing is, I think people love this. Just my personal feedback is the analytical person who wants to know, like, people who like gym bros or working out, they want to get their stats down, like where they're at, and they get these moments and metrics that really enhance them in sports and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool how everything's up. I'm curious about that security part.
Yeah, totally. That's a great point. So let's
Using
see.
OpenAI, right?
So that's what I was going to say. Yes. So none of us are cybersecurity experts. So the architecture for how we're sending it to the API, but at least OpenAI has pretty industry standard security. They're pretty good. So the custom GPT, I don't think there's really any threat to that data being leaked. Once we take it to our own app, then there's more attack surfaces. So you're right, it's pretty personal data. We're going to have to be, putting that first. But at the very least, when you're calling the API, when you're talking to the custom GPT, OpenAI is a very trusted security partner.
Isn't there also a way to instill the safeguards within chat custom GPTs?
So that's also true. Let's just say this: there are prompt injections, which are ways people can attack these custom GPTs and get specific information out of them. But your journals specifically are not. At least at this time, and unless there's some, a revolution in how people do these kinds of attacks, there's no way for anyone to actually access your journals themselves. So because GPT is excluded.
Let's go to Nathaniel next.
Yes.
I just a question about especially when you start therapy, do you guys have considered the questions to kind of also reflect maybe a faith or a certain kind of faith?
Feben, answer. She's in. Anybody, just any metric you want to track?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So when he signed up, we're going to have some questions to understand you more, right? What's most important for you? What are your goals? Then that's a way to have, with a conversation.
Any other question?
I'm sorry if I missed this. I think it's great, like this is a great tool to tackle like mental health therapy, essentially. But what age groups
kids, but honestly, at least in the testing that we've done, I don't know, the age range is pretty significant. I mean, a 71-year-old is one of the user tests that got really good feedback from me. It seems like across the board, we've gotten some pretty good response. So honestly, I don't know that it's bounded much other than the kind of ethical and maybe like implications around kids, right? Obviously, it's more common with kids, but anyone who is looking to improve their mental health or to, again, their faith, you know what I mean? I think that's a kind of ageless experience. I'm trying to meet my goals. Yeah, or exactly, or the road goals, like literally, all the way across the board. I think, I don't think it necessarily is by age. Yes.
So, how do you convince your therapist to be involved, and are you paying the therapist anything to be involved?
Yeah. So initially, we were thinking of that we are providing this through, like, let's say Kaiser, right? So they do have very, very rudimentary journaling app integrations that they give to providers, which then they give to their clients. So the idea would be that we go to Kaiser, we sell this as a platform, then the therapist, they have the management provided. And let's see. I mean, I don't know. You guys have an answer for that. I just think the idea is this first customer being the person who uses the app. And we're still working toward, we just recently got the analytics going. From the therapist perspective, what do they actually want to see, right? You know what I mean? So that's an area for us to dive a little bit deeper in.
Any more questions?
I have a suggestion. So when you make it an app, you just create different user profiles. So, or you can allow users to have multiple profiles, so they can have a personal side where they journal about whatever they're doing. And then if they're a therapist, then they can have access to other people's journal. So that everybody can use the app without being like a medical tool, and then they can go to the therapist. Even if they're looking for therapist, these people like shopping with therapists. So they always say, hey, I'm using this app, I know it, or you know, maybe like sign up so you can access my data.
Totally, yeah, I see what you mean. One caveat you mentioned is like, we are in a software product management certificate at the University of Washington. We're in our second 3 courses, so the next courses go to market. That's why you kind of see there's like a cutoff here where it's like, we solved a bunch of problems, we haven't gotten to that. And so we'll be back here again with, the next evolution, with all your feedback and such. And yeah, stay tuned.
And if you would like to use the app and you have ChatGPT 4, it is live on the market.
Yeah, on the App Store.
And
you just go right to Explore GPT, search Mindpulse.
Yep. And find Mindpulse.
That's a great one.
You can find us on LinkedIn, and if you have any feedback, we would love it. We have had a handful of testers, but could always use more. So thank you.
Does anyone else want to pitch?
Hello everyone, my name is Jaime Mendez. Thank you so much for your time. I want to say first and foremost, it's amazing to see such great people doing things in their life that they love. I think first and foremost, when you lead with passion and enthusiasm, you can do great things in life. So, pizza, low code, helping out with mental health, however you want, analytical journaling. You guys right here with your audio, and thank you so much, Jason, for all you do, whether you're emceeing or canvassing for HR. Every single one of us have a nice integral role in what we do. So I'm going to tell you what I love, my childlike love. My childlike love is the sport of dodgeball.
Yes.
So what you got to understand is that when I was in 3rd and 4th grade, it was my favorite after-school activity to do, hands down. Once we moved, I never got to play it again for 25 years. When I moved out here in Seattle 8 years ago, the universe put me into that place and I found the sport again. And some things have changed. Now, the sport is played with foam balls. That's a game changer from rubber balls. That allows more people to participate in, right? So I got in. I started playing like a maniac. I played every day you could imagine. I captained teams, done tournaments, got last place many times. I came with team chants. Everything you imagine, I still love the game continuously. So I started to figure out, why do I love this game so much? And then I slowly pieced together what it is. At the end of the day, it's about bringing people together. That's what it really comes down to. And the most effective teams are the teams that communicate. and they bring camaraderie and chemistry. So it's the only sport that I know, and I have my reasons why, that men and women play together at the same time. Old and young play together, tall and short. There is no discrimination towards who plays. The really good teams are the teams who truly communicate. So, you hear the enthusiasm in me, right? So eventually someone came across me and was like, hey, listen, I want to do an event with you for Seattle Children's Hospital for neuroblastoma to help out kids. So, all right, sure, let's do it. So we did it 2 years consecutively. We raised $30,000, and I was like, man, the day flew by. It was, orchestrating what the rules are, what the courts are, the teams, and this is how we go around. And I figured, like, there's something here. What if I broke this down to team building? So then I started reaching out to different companies, like, hey, I do team building with Dodgeball. And you can imagine the first thing they go is, nah, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to work out. But I still continuously try, and I reach out to different components. I thought I got lucky with the Coast Guard to do a recruiting event, and I had to continue to keep trying, right? So at the end of the day, what the pitch here is, I know that dodgeball is happening in every major city across the United States. It's an on-the-ground kind of game. Here in Seattle, there's about 4 different organizations hosting it. Almost every day of the week, you can actually play it. What really matters is that you have someone who really understands how to bring camaraderie. And what I mean by this, a simple rule is, when you were playing as a kid, your teacher instilled that, hey, if someone got hit in the face, you got to go over and shake their hand because that wasn't right. No headshots are allowed. Is the teacher, the guidance, the counselor allowing even teams to be amongst each other so that for one team's not destroying the other? So that, let's say one team does win dramatically, the last 2 players switch out. So therefore you can keep making more balance in the teams. The experience of itself, I guarantee you, there's so many lessons to be learned in there, can really bring empowerment to someone. And the simple act of getting a catch, which I can teach you and how you can do it, and anyone here can do it with the advent of a foam ball because it's soft. It doesn't hurt when you get hit by a ball. So once you get past that fear, then you have to understand, okay, wait, now I have to pick my target when to go for the catch, just like in work life, just like in relationships. You have to pick the right target. And what happens after you pick the right target? You commit. You commit to the catch. You commit to your relationship. You commit to your work. And then you'd be surprised in the results you get. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But when you do, and I've seen it 1,000 times, the most unlikely person you could ever imagine gets that catch, takes them to that next level of encouragement. Everyone's cheering for them, and they walk away feeling a little bit taller. That's what I like to bring to people, and that's what exists in all of us. That childlike love is in every single one of us. So, my pitch is, how do I make a change and grow dodgeball to 1 million people playing this sport? Well, my goal is to make a biodegradable ball. The ball is the residual income in all of this. Because the foam ball, believe it or not, only lasts about 3 or 4 months. And it costs anywhere from $20 to $27 per ball. So I got in contact with the best foam ball maker over in Taiwan. It's called Joylight. And I got some negotiations down. But at the end of the day, what I really want to do is make myself different. And myself, by being different, is we call it Eco Ball. And I got lucky with 2 people who essentially been working on this for about 1.5 years, but we just don't have the resources to finalize and make it an MVP. So, I want to go further with this. I want to use low code to make a technology app that will allow highlights and stat tracking. I want to utilize streaming services to see like the great sport of dodgeball as it goes further. I want to maybe use some phones in there, who knows. I want to have analytics tracking on on how you did that day and how good you felt. So that's my journey, and I'll end with this point. The dodgeball that exists right now that you can go online and find is more catered to elite players. I'm catered to the everyday player. What I want to do and encourage in my events is essentially I want to have, not only do you win prizes for winning the tournament, but you also win prizes for having the best spirit. You also have prizes for wearing the best team-themed outfit. You also win prizes for all these different little things that matter to us. That's what I really care about. So thank you for the time. Thank you for the encouragement of hearing all of you to allow me to do this.
I think you're doing well, but I'm ready to run this fucking wall right now for this guy. All right, yes. We can power lift was yes.
Sweet.
Power lift was no.
I just like asking the first question.
No,
I love the idea of dodgeball. I think that the big question is, how do there's an opportunity for dodgeball to expand, and it's kind of, how do you be the beneficiary of that expansion of dodgeball if you're successful in it? So you talked about the ball specifically as the monetization path.
Yeah, the first part.
Yeah. So if the ball is the monetization path, how do you get people to know that ball exists? What's the distribution model? How do people find out that?
Beautiful question. This is why I love the opportunity to work with the Coast Guard. I, as a former military person myself, understand the importance of serving a nation. It feels good. I would feel guilty if someone did join the Navy, Marines, or Army. If they join the Coast Guard, at least they're protecting their homeland. And I feel a little less guilty knowing that if something happened, at least it's within our own borders. So getting recruiting events for dodgeball is the first component right there. Once they get to see and understand that there's a lot of people out there that can then see the benefits of being serving, that whether you get a GI Bill, you get VA, you get various different loans, there's different services that can help. For instance, I get all my medical served through the VA, so that's great. I have healthcare for life. There's a lot of other benefits to it. Once I get that understanding, then I can go on a multi-city tour where dodgeball exists everywhere, and everywhere I go, I get to show, hey, let's use this ball over a foam ball that's already existing. And in doing so, I also belong to a Rotary Club, and there's a Rotary Club in every single city across the world, let alone America, that are also tap into the global market as well. And also, I belong to the Columbia Tower Club, the Invited Club. They have an existing in every major city. So I would do a tour. I talked to this about someone before, and he's like, man, you need to get a caravan, and you make it called the Ultimate Dodgeball Caravan, and you have the balls on you, and everywhere you go, they just know the dodgeball guy. And so that's how it would be. That'll be my journey for the next few years.
I said one suggestion when you said you make you catch and feel a little taller. Like, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish it was a dodgeballer.
I like that.
That's the motto.
I like that.
Take it.
I'll get to you.
We belong to the YMCA. I've seen in the YMCA we have gyms and the kids play dodgeball. How do you get your dodgeball into all the YMCAs so that they can use?
Yeah. There's over 100,000 schools across America that have foam balls that can use a biodegradable ball. So it goes beyond dodgeball itself. So when I talk about, that's one of the most unique thing is it's something that's so basic, a ball, right? Why don't we make it, because when these balls are done, and they only last about 3 or 4 months, the reason why they only last that long is because the rubber gripping on the outside of it comes detached from the styrofoam itself. What do you do with the styrofoam? Styrofoam is not recyclable, so you just basically throw it out and feel guilty. That's why we need a new kind of ball. But so yes, I would reach out to the Greater Seattle, the YMCA of Greater Seattle, and tell them, hey, we have a new, better designable ball that can help out with any existing sport you want to do beyond dodgeball. So it's beyond that.
How long does your ball last?
Hopefully it would last longer than 3 or 4 months. That would be the key component here. And idealistically, while we're still working on it, and there's many different components. One of the scientists, he actually works with a company that does biodegradable straws. But if you notice the water, the moisture of it kind of breaks it down too fast, right? So there's still some toying and figuring it out. Because idealistically, I would love it to be an outdoor ball. The foam balls that exist now are all indoor. So, yes.
So this sounds awesome, and it sounds like something that's definitely needed. What can you do to help? What are you looking for? What do you need to make this a reality?
Yeah, that's a great question. This opportunity itself right here has superseded anything I thought I'd be. Just the feedback in the audience, I appreciate tremendously. I would say accountability. That I would say if I'm here in 2 months from now and there is no movement on this, and light a fire under my butt.
Do you have the capital necessary to make the ball? Were you saying that you were
Negative.
struggling?
No, so I currently now work at Cellnet as yes. So we do technology services. So I had to take on a different role in life, and I'm hoping that the money I make from this, and I can reinvest into Dodgeball.
How much do you need to make the prototype?
It's between 10 to 12,000.
Where's the ball gonna be made at? Like in China, in Seattle?
Where's what?
Where's the ball gonna be made at?
The best ball right now is currently made in Taiwan.
No, where are you gonna make?
Oh, here, baby, right here. Well, the scientists are in California, in Redding, California. but it could fluctuate between there or here. USA, I want to make USA prominence all the way. Thank you.